Hey, I'm Jean Pickett, and we are around town today with Zach Roth from Ansbacher Law. Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Hey, Jean, good to see you, even if it's only over video.
Yeah, you know what? With COVID-19, it's the best way to be. And talking about the best
Exactly.
way to be, we are dealing with so much with the small businesses and the government loans and programs that are new and that have been coming out. Can you explain those to us?
Absolutely. There's actually been several programs that have been implemented from the local level all the way up to the federal level. Locally, just on Monday, Duval County passed a program that essentially provides for loans through ViStar and grants from the city to cover interest if you meet certain thresholds in maintaining your payroll and your employment. And then if you hit 100% on those targets, actually giving you a rebate on some of the premium of the loan as well, or the principal of the loan as well. So that's a strong one. There's statewide a bridge loan that's provided for disaster relief. It's a short-term 1-year loan of up to $50,000 to allow kind of bridging the gap, so to speak. And then there's two federal options, one of which is a disaster relief loan that's a more general loan. The rate is in the threes. It requires personal guarantees. And that one, you can roll that state bridge loan into that. It has a longer period, term repayment, et cetera. But the really, really big one that's out there is the Payroll Protection Program, which is another federal program that's implemented essentially to help small businesses make payroll so they don't have to lay off or furlough employees. And what's significant about that is if you hit a 75% figure on what you receive, which you receive about 2.5 months of your entire payroll, if you hit 75% of that figure and you make sure that's paid to them, the loan is forgiven. So it converts from a loan to a grant, and you never have to pay it back, which is a huge opportunity.
So what does that mean if you hit a 75% figure? I mean, does that mean you use 75% of the money towards the payroll? And is there some type of size requirement for the small business itself? Like you have to have so many employees or?
Sure. So those are two good questions. On the first question, it's basically, say you have $100,000 that you receive from the federal government for this loan. Mm-hmm. As long as you spend $75,000 of that on payroll and the other 25 covers mortgages, utilities, things like that, it's going to be forgiven. So just 75% of whatever you receive. Okay. And in terms of the numbers, it varies by the different loan programs. For instance, the Duval County program, you have to have at least 2 employees in addition to the business owner and less than 100 employees. The federal ones, especially the Payroll Protection Program, you have to have less than 500 employees, but there is no minimum. So this even applies, for example, to sole proprietors and starting, I believe, tomorrow, independent contractors.
Oh, wow. That's really important. So when talking about these, if it isn't forgiven, say they don't spend the 75% of it towards a payroll, so then it's not forgiven. Do you have any idea what type of term or interest rates they would be looking at?
Sure. And so to clarify on that too, my understanding is it's not that the full amount becomes non-refundable or non-forgiven. It's just that whatever percentage you didn't use as was allocated becomes, and it's amortized over, I believe it's 2 years. And I'm not certain on the interest. I'm sorry. The interest rate on that is 1%. I was misremembering. It's 1% interest rate.
That's amazing.
So it's an outstanding opportunity.
Yeah, for the entire loan, it would be 1% over a 2-year time period of repayment. Correct?
Correct. Even if you ended up not hitting any of your marks, you would have a 1% loan over a 2-year period. Exactly.
Now, generally, where would somebody go to apply for these loans? Are they going to their business bank, or is there a special website they need to go through the government? How do they apply for this?
So I guess the answer to that is yes. Since there's different programs, each has a different one. The Duval County program is administered solely through ViStar. So the city is partnered with ViStar on that. So if you're going to do the city program, you do that. For the state program, you apply through the state. It's floridadisasterloan.org is the website for that. In terms of the disaster relief loan from the federal government, that is a direct application through the Small Business Administration, which is available on their website. And the payroll protection program, which is, again, the most important one, is done through your bank.
Okay. So go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, there is no requirement by the federal government that you have to go through a bank that you have an existing relationship with, but most banks are requiring you to have an existing relationship, or at the very least, start a new relationship with that bank before they are willing to participate in the program with you.
Okay, so generally, how long does this process take from the time they apply to when they start receiving the funds?
That's a great question, and it's one that's difficult to give an answer on for a few reasons. One is this only passed in the CARES Act of the federal government last week. So last Thursday, we're a week out from when the federal government issued its interim rules on how the Paycheck Protection Program would be applied. So everybody's kind of figuring it out. And what happened is everybody rushed to get their applications in.
Right.
And there hasn't been any funds processed through yet because websites crashed and that sort of thing. My understanding was they were expecting funds to start coming through by the end of this week. The federal government has said that their goal is in implementing the program that you put your application in the morning, and by close of business, the funds are in your account. That's the goal, but that's not the way it's operating right now.
Okay, yeah, I can understand, especially with so many businesses applying, and that it would just get overloaded. So, Zachary,
there's $350 billion. So a lot of money there. So a lot of businesses applying.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. And thank you so much for giving us an overview on these programs that are out there and really clarifying some of the issues that are with them as well.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Very happy to provide any information I can.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for joining us on Around Town. And if you want to talk to Zach directly, you can visit him at www.ansbacher.net. Thank you so much.